Have you ever stopped to think about where the magical golden flower from Tangled came from? The one with the power to heal and grant youth, used by Mother Gothel. There's a fascinating theory suggesting that this flower was created by none other than Maui, the demigod we know from Moana. In Tangled, the origin of the flower is attributed to a drop of sunlight that fell from the sky and touched the earth, generating a magical plant with incredible powers. But what if this light didn't fall on Earth by accident? This is where Maui's possible involvement comes in. Now, let's remember who Maui is. He's the demigod who performed legendary feats, manipulating natural forces with his powerful magical hook. One of his most notable actions, which he mentions in the famous song, "You're Welcome," is bringing the sun closer to the Earth. That's right, Maui literally pulled the sun, altering nature for the benefit of humanity. But think about it. When Maui pulled the sun closer, what else could have happened? Perhaps the sun's proximity caused something even more extraordinary, like the appearance of the magical golden flower. That intense light may have unleashed a powerful ray of energy that, upon touching the earth, gave rise to the plant with special powers. Now that we know about Maui's impact in bringing the sun closer, let's remember how the golden flower appeared in Tangled. A drop of sunlight touched the earth, and from that magical moment, the plant with healing and rejuvenating powers was born. The theory suggests that this sunlight was actually caused by Maui's action of pulling the sun closer. In doing so, Maui may have accidentally triggered a cosmic event that resulted in the birth of the flower. The plant, then, would have inherited the energy of the sun and its extraordinary powers, as we see throughout Tangled. Now, look at this. The golden flower, or something very similar to it, appears twice in Moana. The first time is during the song "I Am Moana," when Moana is on a journey to discover her true identity. There, a golden flower very similar to the one in Tangled is shown briefly. The second appearance happens at the end of the movie, right after Moana returns the heart of Te Fiti. At that moment, we again see a golden flower growing, almost as a symbol of healing and restoration of nature. Could this just be a coincidence? Or is this flower a variation of the one created by the power of the sun that Maui brought closer to the earth? We know that Maui is not just the demigod who brought the sun closer to the earth. He is known for his feats that shape the natural world, from lifting islands from the ocean floor to changing the form of living creatures with his magical hook. With this history, it's clear that he has the power to manipulate nature in impressive ways. Now, imagine the impact of this ability on the creation of the golden flower. By pulling the sun, Maui could have unintentionally triggered a reaction in nature so powerful that it resulted in the creation of this magical plant. As we saw in Moana, his actions have huge consequences, and the power of his feats spreads across the world, sometimes with unexpected and lasting effects. The golden flower, therefore, could be one of these consequences. It carries the essence of the sun, just as many of Maui's deeds leave permanent marks on nature. And what's most curious is that this plant not only appears in Moana, but also endures for centuries, as we see in Tangled. The golden flower we see in Tangled is clearly not an ordinary plant. Besides its miraculous powers of healing and rejuvenation, it seems to have existed for many centuries. This leads us to the next question. How did this flower survive for so long? The answer may be directly connected to Maui. We know that his actions, like stealing the heart of Te Fiti, create effects that resonate for generations. So, it makes sense to imagine that the golden flower, born from a ray of sunlight brought by Maui, survived for centuries, especially considering that the powers it grants are almost divine. Moreover, Mother Gothel, who used the flower to prolong her life, has an unchanging appearance for centuries, reinforcing the idea that the plant existed long before the events of Tangled. If Maui really was responsible for creating this flower, it means it could have originated during his era, thousands of years ago. The theory becomes even more interesting when we think about the possibility of a shared universe between Moana and Tangled. Both films portray nature as something alive and mystical, with powerful forces that directly affect people's lives. In both cases, we have elements of nature with divine characteristics, such as the ocean in Moana and the golden flower in Tangled. Maui, as a demigod who directly interferes with these elements, could have been responsible for creating the golden flower by bringing the sun closer. The flower that appears at the end of Moana could be a variation or even a manifestation of this magical plant, reinforcing the idea that Maui's actions resonate throughout different parts of the world and over many years. This theory suggests that the two films take place in the same universe, where Maui's feats not only shaped life on the Polynesian islands, but also influenced distant places like the Kingdom of Corona, where Tangled takes place. But, as with any good theory, there are some points to discuss. While the idea of Maui creating the golden flower is fascinating and full of visual and thematic connections, there are some arguments that could weaken this theory. One of the main points is that the appearance of the golden flower in Moana could be just an Easter egg, a fun detail placed by the animators as a reference to other Disney movies, without the intention of creating a real connection between the universes. Disney often includes these little references in its films, and the golden flower could simply be a visual joke for attentive fans. Another important point is that the series Rapunzel's Tangled Adventure, which expands the story of Tangled, never mentions Maui or any demigod. In the series, the origin of the magic in Tangled is expanded with the introduction of a moonstone, which is seen as the opposite of the golden flower. This stone has its own mystical powers but does not reference Maui or his feats, which could suggest that the flower has a different origin. Even with these counterpoints, the theory is still intriguing and leaves room for imagination. In the end, this theory not only creates a fascinating connection between Moana and Tangled, but also opens up the possibility of a shared universe where the feats of mythical characters, like Maui, have long-lasting and unexpected consequences. The golden flower, with its healing powers, could be a gift from Maui to the world, accidentally created when he pulled the sun closer to the earth. This idea makes us wonder, what else could Maui have done in his adventures that we haven't realized yet? Could other magical creations scattered around the world also be the result of his actions? And most importantly, did Maui really create the golden flower that sparked Rapunzel's journey? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's keep exploring together the hidden secrets and theories in Disney movies.